Hey guys, this is Primitive Survival with William Macy, and today I'm going to talk about rose. So, this is fall time, and I was in the woods, and I wanted something to eat. There's not a whole lot now, the stuff is dying down, it's getting ready for winter, but there are a couple plants that are still out and ready for you to eat that have lots of good vitamins, and one of them is a rose bush. And so there's wild rose and then there's domestic roses, and they're pretty much the same thing. You just want to make sure that they're not sprayed, because if they're sprayed you can eat the poisons that will kill the grass around it or something, or the bugs, and you can get really sick. So please make sure that what you're eating is not sprayed by chemicals, and it's safe to eat, and not by any polluted ground or water or air. So yeah, just be careful where you are foraging, and hope you have fun. So right here we have a patch of roses, and these are wild roses, so they're a little bit skinnier, and they'll get as tall as regular roses, but they range from probably about anywhere from your waist all the way up to probably a good 7 feet tall in some spots. But these ones, they're about, I don't know, 5 feet, 5'6", whatever, tall, and they're just skinnier. So here is a rose bush here. So rose bushes, they have thorns, which you want to be careful of when you're picking, and then they'll have green flowers, and then they have regular roses, and then they have rose hips. And the part that I'm going to be talking about today mostly is the rose hips, because that's the part you can eat in the winter or fall time, and I'll talk about the nutritional highlights of that here soon. Yeah, so this is just a rose bush. I use a rose bush, the wood, to make arrows, and then the petals of the flower work as a natural band-aid. And roses, I mean, they're pretty easy to identify. In the wintertime, they have these rose hips here, so they're just kind of like a little, it looks like a, I don't know, small grape or whatever. But it's they just hang off on the ends, and if you've ever seen domestic roses, you should know what a rose is in the woods. They're pretty much the same thing, just a little bit smaller for the rose hips and the rose flowers, but pretty much the same thing. And so this is the part that we eat out here when it's fall time or winter time. So they're rich in iron and high in vitamin C. So this is very good for you when you're in the woods in wintertime and you need that extra kind of kick of energy. And so they're real good for you. And just to eat them, what you do is, there's kind of seeds in the middle, but you just kind of pop off the end. There's a little bit of an end, like leftover flower kind of thing, and then they're attached to the stem. What you do is you just pick them off and take off that flower kind of part at the end, the dead flower, and you can just put them in your mouth and chew on them. You're going to eat the whole thing. These are pretty small, so I just ate the whole thing. But you can, when they're bigger, you can just kind of eat around the seeds or try to squish the seeds out. But since these are so small, I just eat the whole thing, and that works pretty good for me. So yeah, I just take it off, and then there's this end right here. Just kind of pop that off, and then you can eat it. But as you can see, you smush it, there's that seed pocket that kind of just comes out right there. And you start it off, and then you're left with like the skins and a little bit of the inside, but it just makes it a little bit less seedy for you when you eat it. You can eat the tender young leaves and the fruits, which the fruit is the rose hips right here, and you can eat the flowers. And yeah, so right now we don't have the young leaves or the flowers, but we just have the rose hips because it's fall time right now. But all the rest of the time of year, you can pretty much eat the young leaves and the flowers. So this bush is edible just about all year long, and it's a good source of vitamins. And if they're in your area, and I'm in west central part of Oregon, and these things grow everywhere, so I love these. They're real great. I can make my arrows out of the wood, and I eat their rose hips and their petals and stuff. Real good. It's a real good plant to know. But when you're picking any sort of wild edible, please make sure that you have a good book. And so the book I use is Wild Edibles by Sergi Bontonko. I probably am saying his name wrong. But this is a book. This is an amazing book. It's got all kinds of edible plants in it. It's got 60 different edible plants, and it has 67 recipes. So that's kind of cool. It gives you some recipes. And they have rose bushes in here, and that's where I learn most of my edible stuff is from his book. But please check some references when foraging, and make sure their plants were in a good clean spot and you're not eating contaminated bush. And just be safe about it. There are some poisonous plants out there, but lots of plants are edible that you may not know you can eat. But it'll help you get vitamin C and iron in the wintertime out of this berry here. And in the summertime, you can get greens from the leaves and the petals of the flower. And then you can also make arrows out of the wood. So it'll also help you get some meat on your table. Yeah, so I think this is just an amazing bush, and it's good to know what it can do for you. Alright guys, I hope you liked this video. If this helped you in any way, please subscribe, and so you don't miss any new videos I make on wild edibles or gear reviews and friction fires and food and shelters. So I hope you like this video and you keep watching. Alright, bye.